Jeg har ikke briller på meg. Vær så snill at det var introen.
On average, how many seagulls do you attract when you laugh?
At least 2.8.
Because you have a very distinct laugh.
No, I do not know what you're talking about.
You have your own emoji
Yes.
for it.
Yes.
And that comes from your streaming, right?
Yeah, that comes from streaming. I laugh like a seagull. Quite known. Oh. Okay, well, the dog. The dog is making noise. Well, yeah, I have a quite distinct laugh coming from streaming. I laugh. Sometimes when I get like extreme laughter, it sounds like a seagull. So yeah, that is funny. And it has happened a lot on stream. We play a lot of fun games and then normally happens.
Yeah, and you have a really cozy stream and a cozy community within that stream. And you play a lot of unusual games. Like, I feel like when you pick a game to play, you don't pick it because it's a popular game.
No, you will never find me playing FPS games, because I just don't like them. Not saying they are bad games, because they're not. They're just not my cup of tea. So I will never ever play them. I think when you are in a niche, as I am, like a niche of a niche of a niche, is like a really small niche, you can't believe that you will ever be the greatest, the best, the most popular, the most viewed. That is not what you go for. You go for bringing something to the community. I have my values, I have the things I want to bring to society, but it will never happen that I can be the next big streamer. I can never be Iron Mouse, no matter what I ever do. That will never happen. And that is not sad, that is freeing, which makes that I can always play like a really niche, itty-bitty indie game that nobody has ever heard about. I can play my favorite game from my childhood because I can always bring in accessibility, whatever I do. So then I can always showcase that in the games I play. So accessibility history is as old as gaming history. They go hand in hand from like the time we started gaming video games, we started having accessibility. So there's also always something I can like take back and take into the content I make about it. So that is freeing. That makes that I don't need to have, if I have 5 viewers or if I have 50 viewers, that for me is just equal fun, because it's 5 or 50 engaged people that really, really want to learn about this really niche topic. So it's just fun, no matter what.
Yeah, and it's such a weird thing that accessibility is so niche, because it should really affect everyone. Because everyone has some kind of need they need to cater to.
Yes, like I have a podcast with a friend of mine, and we always joke about we should like rebrand accessibility into quality of life, because everybody needs it, everybody has it, everybody uses it. If you play a game, you use accessibility, and most likely also in your everyday life you use accessibility, or you use tools that once were made for disabled people that today is made for everyone. Like you use a keyboard, you have a smartphone with a smart feedback on your phone, so like tapping on your phone, made for blind people. You have captions on the movies you watch or when you go to the cinema. Most of us have glasses or contact lenses.
Yeah.
You have these things that were originally made for disabled people that the whole society has gotten benefit from. And it's a effect that is called the cut curb effect. Like, you know, with the pavement outside, you have like this cut down so wheelchair users can get off and on the pavement or the sidewalk in a safe way. But everybody uses, if you have a heavy suitcase, if you're delivering something, if you have a low riding car that you don't want to like get any bumps when you go up and down, like everybody uses it, but it's made for disabled people. And that is why when people think about accessibility, they sadly only think about disabled people, but as soon as we call it quality of life, they go like, oh no, but I use that.
Yeah.
So it's so fun, like on the everything app called Twitter.
Yeah.
When we have a game company adding accessibility, you see people getting mad. But when they add quality of life, everybody goes, yeah, yes, I am going to use that.
Yeah, the branding of it is really important.
Yeah, and when people say accessibility, they think, well, some people think bad things. They don't want to be associated with it. But quality of life, everybody understands that games need to cater to their audience. Games are supposed to be played by humans, then they need to cater to humans. And we are a diverse group, no matter what people say. We come in different shapes and sizes and needs and variants, and we always interact with the world around us in different ways, and games need to reflect that.
Yeah. In my day-to-day job, the accessibility, it has its own short form,
Yep.
A11Y.
Yep.
It is a pain.
Yep.
I understand why it's there,
Yep.
but it's also it's more of an afterthought.
Yep.
Usually, more than design for this. It's more like you make it and then, accessibility.
Yeah.
And then you have to rework everything and add the accessibility options and labels and everything that comes with the accessibility.
Yes.
Afterwards. But it should be like we had this change many years ago with mobile first design, where you start design for mobile and then desktop.
Yeah.
Now we do design and then accessibility. It should also be accessibility first and then.
Yeah.
So usually when I work now with a lot of UX people, they take care of that, so I can just code.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually the reason why I have an unpopular opinion when it comes to accessibility compared to my peers in the gaming industry. I do not want game accessibility to have any standards. And it is for the reason you just explained. Because when it's a standard, then you are framing it as something you need to do, and you don't understand why you need to do it, and you're not motivated to do it. It's a piece of paper telling you what to do. And yes, we need that for web, because web is a bit more important in many cases, or application can be a bit more important, say if it's a government site or it's a site or an app for like a doctor's office. These are important things that should always be it, because we need them on. Gaming, on the other hand, is hobbies. And what I see when I work with studios is that when you also frame it in a bit different way, depending on who you talk to. So you talk to the stakeholders, you always frame it as like, but you can reach like 2 billion more people if you made it accessible. Like, do you do that? The money talk. You have the money talk.
Yeah.
But when you talk to developers, you go more like, okay, but if you say make a RPG, a story-heavy RPG, you can make sure with the added accessibility that people can come back to your game after 2 weeks and remember where they were. Or you can frame it like, if you do this, more people can be engaged in the story you want to get told. Or if you do this, you have more people being able to join your vision for the game. So we pack it in more like that, because that makes people motivated to add it. Because at some point, more philanthropical, is that what you call it? Yeah.
Philanthropic, yeah.
Yeah. Questions can get people a bit demotivated because it feels like out there, and then making them understand, no, take it back to us, to humans, to wearing glasses, to writing on a keyboard, and understand what it actually is, what it actually does, and who it actually helps. Makes it more normalized, and then that I feel is better than a standardization.
Yeah, and you also have the change in the mediums, in that a web page is at its core very standard.
Yeah.
You have a button, it should have a label, it should be able to be a screen readable item.
Yeah.
You should be able to skip content, skip back up. You should, like, all of these are standard things, and a game is usually an artwork.
Yes.
That doesn't have a standard to cater to. You can't really say that one option in God of War should be present as the same option in another simple,
Yes.
like, let's say Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Those have two different categories that they need to cater to. So you can't really have a standard. And the problem with making a standard is that people see this document. This is what you need to do. Okay, bare minimum. We do this, and then we're done.
Yeah.
You don't really think through and improve your game. You just add stuff to it to check off a box.
Yeah, you start not understanding why you should add it. And that's the thing with when I teach, so I also do teaching or webinars or I do workshops. And then it depends on who I'm talking to, but I had a lecture on my local university. And I talked to students and we talked about like medium and other mediums versus gaming. And one of the things with other mediums is that your way of interacting with a web page, with social media, with a video like on YouTube or Twitch is quite limited. Like on Twitch, well, you can sometimes, if you can get through the noise, make the streamer do something else. But depending on other social media, you rarely can do that. If somebody has made a YouTube video, that YouTube video is done. So accessibility is often something you add on top. And it's not that much you as a receiver can do to change what is happening. But when you play a game, you're the one who controls it. So your limitations and your abilities as a human is what's being portrayed onto the game. So this is a bit more complicated, but it goes, so then you get like a multiverse of having to interact. The game needs to be able to interact with you, and you need to be able to interact with the game on an equal level, which is normally not something we've seen before. TV, video, and everything is just 90% they interacting with you and 10% you interacting with them. So we are now on a completely different level, because now you have to start looking at humans and how we interact with things in different ways. Because if I watch a YouTube video and I am blind, well, that might have some problems and limitations of how I can interact with it. But if I don't have arms, that doesn't hinder me from interacting with a YouTube video at all. But both those things would hinder you in completely different way to interact with a game.
Yeah.
It's a bit complicated, but it is like gaming adds on a whole different level. So what we can have standards in videos and television in web, it's really easy to make standards. When it comes to game then starts to who should we even cater to?
Yeah.
Which disability? What should be the standard way of interacting with a game when there is a billion times to interact with a game? And now I'm not just talking about disabled people, like speedrunners.
Yeah.
How are they glitching out games? How are they doing it as fast as they can and stuff like that?
Yeah. But you also have a lot of controllers that you test.
Yes.
And those are always fun to see, because that means that a game designer will try to cater to disabilities. Mm-hmm. But you also have the big companies actually listening to your to their customers, and that they need a special controller to play. So I know you have some controllers that you play with your feet.
Yes.
And then you have some big ones for Microsoft.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So I have we can put in a video here.
Yeah.
Because it's tied up to the setting, but we can see it over there. It's an Xbox adaptive controller. It looks like a DJ disc.
Yeah.
But it's not that, it's just two big buttons. And on the floor underneath my desk, you can see that there are buttons. And those 4 buttons I steer with my feet. And they either do inputs for my computer, so I use them when I edit, I use them when I play games that is a typical computer game, but I still use the keyboard as my main layout. But I also use them when I play with a controller.
Yeah.
So Xbox I can use on the Xbox, on the Switch 2, and on the PC. And then we have the ones you see over there. Again, I can send you some videos. But those are for PlayStation. And they are made to be more like a disc sphere. So all of them are buttons, 8 buttons around and 1 in the middle and 1 joystick. And you can have up to 2 of them and 2 regular controllers connected together. And you can make the system believe that all of these are one controller.
Yeah, so you can basically cooperate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So say you had like a stroke, and now you cannot move your body from neck and down. So what we can then do to help you is that we can set up, if you have like a wheelchair with like a neck support, we can put buttons on your neck support. So now you can play by moving your neck, or we can give you something called a sip and puff, which is just a straw into your mouth, and you can sip or puff, and that will make actions happen in the game.
Yeah, basically input.
Yes, but that might not be enough for more complicated gamers. So if then you have a friend or you have somebody else in your life you want to game with, or you and me, I could have a regular controller, and then I could supplement with the buttons you could not press yourself.
Yeah.
So like, mobility accessibility is everything on how you as a human interact with the game, and how you interact like input with the game. So anything. So from people playing with their eyes, from people playing with one-handed controllers, people playing with their mouth, people playing with their feet like I do due to my arthritis, people playing with regular controllers, because that is also, to things like button remapping, games having macros. So some games you can actually talk to, and the game will do inputs for you saying words, like some FPS games, or you can have a program on the side that can push buttons for you. So I have a friend that is paralyzed from like mid-chest down, so he can't use his hand properly. So he's struggling with reloading when he uses the PlayStation Access controller. And then he has a program that is also connected into the PlayStation. So when he says reload out loud, the game automatically reloads for him.
That's being like really complicated, being voice recognition and everything. And this is something that I hope that the AI in the wave that we have now will come up with new ways to help accessibility, because it has a lot of information and it can remap some of that to give good suggestions, right? Yeah,
so I normally do really not like AI, of course, like, and then I'm talking about the generative AI.
Agree. Yeah.
But where AI is good and where it actually gives us good things is when things like controller. We have a whole system, I cannot remember what it's called, but I can show you a video of it, which is a system where you put your phone in front of you, and then the phone records your face, and whatever you move on your face interprets into an input on a controller. So if then you're paralyzed from neck down, you can then play a game by doing things with your face.
Yeah.
And due to every single human being different, so how we interact with our muscles are different. And before, that needed to be a person sitting down and adding out the code.
Mapping out everything.
Yes.
And
taking hours. This was just for extremely wealthy people being able to have this technology, to giving it to everybody that has a phone, because it then can learn from your face. So how high can you put up your eyebrow? Okay, so if I do this, then I jump. Oh, I'm concentrating. But like that we can do then. And then AI on these fields are extremely good to have. Yeah.
I feel the AI discussion, we will not get into that now, but the AI discussion is almost wholly focused on the generative AI. Yeah. But there's so much more. There's so much more where it helps.
I saw somebody saying, which I really agree with, that AI should never have left STEM, because then it would actually be good.
Yeah.
Because then we wouldn't have all the negative things. Because having it in everyday people's hands is not good. But having it in science, in technology, in where it actually can be used for good by good people, then it's good.
I'm not sure STEM, like the mad scientist trope, is a thing, right? So, you mentioned you've been streaming, and how long have you been streaming for?
I think I've been streaming for 10 years now. This year.
10 years.
10 years. So my then boyfriend, today husband, he actually, when we have been together for 1 year, he gave me, so we moved together after 1 year, and he had a PlayStation 4, and I told him that I always wanted to stream, but I was really afraid. And then he gave me for a 1 year anniversary gift, actually Fallout 4. And then he told me, I'm going to go out, jam with my buddies, like playing guitars and band, because he does music. When I come back, you would have started your first stream. I've set up everything for you, connected everything. You just press play, and your best friend, I have told him that you're going to stream. He will be on, he will be in chat with you, just try.
Yeah.
And I absolutely fell in love. That was just like one of the most fun thing I've ever done.
I must admit that I've used your husband as an example in a lot of my episodes.
Oh.
Yeah, he being the one who does stuff out of spite.
Yeah.
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 You can't do that. Really?
Really?
And then he does it. So I've mentioned him, not by name, but I mentioned him a couple of times, being like the inspiration to do something. You're not limited by what other people are saying.
No.
You can put your own limits on things. Just do whatever you want.
He literally learned how to play guitar because his music teacher told him he didn't believe he could be able to do it, and he was just like that.
Yeah.
So.
And now he has a band and release music and everything. It's
they're up recording in the studio as we do this interview.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But it's also both heartwarming and inspiring, because usually when you see people play guitar, they learn it when they're young and small, and he was fairly grown up when he started.
I think so. I think it was like in high school or something around there. Yeah.
So it's
later than usual. Yeah.
But it's great to have him support you and push you to doing your first stream.
Yes.
And you also have a YouTube channel where you go through accessibility in games and promote games that are doing good. I'd say,
Yeah, because I believe that is the model of how making people want to do it. Again, like, I don't believe, so like Elden Rings, right, Dark Souls is like this whole talk about, should it have easy mode, should it not have easy mode? And to be honest, for me, like, even though I work with this, I understand why they don't have easy mode. Like, Dark Souls don't need easy mode. That's your line to start with.
And then the seagulls.
Yeah. No, but like Dark Souls don't need easy mode, but what they need is a plethora of other accessibility things that fits their value, because their value is to be hard. Okay, let them be hard. And like, I don't want developers start being what you talked about, like being like, oh, do I need to do this? I want them to be motivated. What like Dark Souls could have is like bigger text size, because a lot of people actually don't know that Dark Souls and Elden Ring has really good stories, but they're written in books that you need to find, or stories. And I had somebody saying like, yeah, I know, but the screen is so far away from me that when I play, because most of them play them on like PlayStation, and they sit in the living room, and he was just like, I'm so far away from my TV, I cannot read that shit.
Yeah.
So then, okay, but we don't want them to miss out on that. Why don't they add that accessibility then? Text size will not take away anything from what Dark Souls and Elden Ring want to be. They will still be in line with FromSoft, but just make people understand it even better.
Suffer with lore.
Suffer with lore.
Yeah, that's. But that's important to see that you don't need every accessibility option for every game.
No.
Like, if you're playing a horror game, Amnesia, something like that, you shouldn't have a be nice to me mode. No. It's a game you play to be afraid, right? To feel the tension.
Yes.
And if you remove all the tension, what's left?
Yeah. It is the saying of like, nothing is 0% accessible, nothing is 100% accessible. And on those two edges, I have like Pokemon and Last of Us. Pokemon is known for not being accessible. There is nothing you can do to add accessibility in the game. They have no settings. But what Pokemon is, the original Pokemon games, is a game you can play pushing one and one button.
Yeah. So
you push one button, you walk upward, you go into a battle and you push one button, and when you're done selecting, then they attack. So it's an extremely accessible game for people with only one finger to play with. And on the other side, you have the most accessible game in the world right now, Last of Us 2. And Last of Us 2 has zombies. I have PTSD. I cannot deal with things running behind me in games, like feeling of having like something following you behind you. For some reason, and I don't know because it's nothing to do with my PTSD, but it triggers my PTSD. I saw like a trailer for Last of Us once, and that even triggered it. And I was just like, I cannot play this game. But we cannot add accessibility that takes away the zombies in Last of Us. No. That would take away the whole point.
Yeah.
So even though it has 80 plus accessibility options, and you can even play Last of Us without turning your screen on, so you can only use like sound to play it. So even gamers without any sight can play it. I cannot. Because no game is 0% accessible, no game is 100% accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, if you are going to remove that aspect of the game, you remove the world. You remove the game world.
Yeah.
So it's a piece of art, right?
Yes.
So you need to actually be the piece of art you want to be.
Yeah.
But of course, you want to tell it to as many people as possible.
And we should have respect for the artist. We should have respect for what their vision was. So when I have these workshops and stuff and I talk to developers, my whole point is to make sure they understand that accessibility is not only to lower barriers, is to make more people understand and experience the value they had and the thought they had of the game when they made it. So whatever piece they have in their heart when they think about their game, to bring that out to more people. That is what you want accessibility to do. Not change that value, not to change that piece of your heart, but to bring it visible to more people.
Yeah. I had a question. You have obviously been in this niche for a while. Mm-hmm. Do you have other people you look up to in that niche that inspires you?
Yes. My co-host of my podcast, Laura K. Buss, she has been doing this for way longer than I have. And the thing she's been able to do, and she's so systematic, so she can put it into perspective that I haven't even thought about before. You have Steve Saylor. He's a blind gamer, and he talks a lot about, like, he opens up the eyes for people to understand what blindness is, because people think blindness means seeing zero things. That is not true. Blindness is a spectrum, as most disability are a spectrum, but blindness as well. And he falls on this line, and he tells people and make them understand why, like, blind accessibility is such a huge field, because it's from everything from people who just have part of their eyesight missing or that can just see in like small holes, to people that cannot see at anything at all. I also have a friend called Deaf Gamer Chris, who added on, like, he started doing tournaments, so fighting tournaments, fighting games, where he was the presenter, but he did it in American Sign Language, making it being available for a whole new audience, because that is fun. Like, one of the things with captions, they are not good enough accessibility. We are missing things there, because when you read a book, is the reason why it always says he laughed, he said smirkly, she winked, because words in themselves doesn't necessarily say what
tone.
Tone, how you're telling it. So the fact that when he does sign language, he can get these emotions through, because in sign you actually get emotions through, and then people can see it on the same level as people who can hear, have the commentary on the same level, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah. That's really cool. I haven't really thought about that before. That's true. There
are games who have started doing this, like I think it was Forza. You can put on like having captions, but also ASL. So whenever there's a cutscene, it comes up like a lady on the side of the screen that acts out what is being said, but with sign language.
Oh.
And then like with the proper way. And also sign language is its own language, so it has its own grammar, it has its own way of talking. It's not just a copy. So English sign language is just not English, and then you have signs. It's a completely different language.
Yeah.
So the grammar and the way you're talking it will be different. So then also how you express yourself will be different.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I haven't really thought of that, but yeah, it makes sense that you would like learn sign language is not just learning words.
Yeah.
It's more than that. It's learning a new language.
Yeah. It's the same way of like if you want to learn Japanese, you will come somewhat far if you learn the whole dictionary, but you wouldn't be able to talk to somebody. You will still be able to talk like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Because you're just reciting words.
Yeah.
Me hungry.
Yeah.
Like
it works.
It works, but
me hungry, wagyu.
Yeah. Please. Arigato.
Going back a little bit, you mentioned accessibility in games. That's big for you. Mm-hmm. And I know that you have your first credit now.
Yes.
Yes. What is the game? And what is your role in that game?
So I am credited as an accessibility expert in a game called Life Below, by a Norwegian game company called Megapop. So I have worked on games before, but then under other companies or under other people. So I have been more a person I take on for 1 or 2 hours to test games and then give them feedback. But in this role, I was the one and only accessibility, well, they call it accessibility expert, I call it accessibility consultant they had on. So what I did 2 years ago was that they sent me a mail and they have sent me updates of the game. And then I play through it and I write a really, really big report of where I say you should go here, you should do this, you should not do this, you should focus on this. Then they take it aboard, think about the resources they have, and then they start implementing it. So Life Below is city builder, but instead of building cities, you're building reefs, so under the ocean. So you start the game, a really, really pretty game, where you learn that something has happened to the reef to make the reef start dying, which is something we experience today in society. And then you, as Gaia, and I think it's Thalassa, I think was the name of the guardian spirit you are going to start to revive the reefs, because that's something we actually can do. And you're going to build your quote-unquote city or reef by different resources in the same as a traditional reef
same city. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you have your, not roads, but you have your hospitals and electricity and food and where people can live and stuff like that. And you build up. And then there comes different areas that you need to make sure that they have the right pH, the right temperature, the right type of fish, and so on and so on. And it is extremely fun.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Being in the on the outside, watching games being made and playing a lot of games, to suddenly sit on the inside and help develop those games.
Yeah.
By giving advice and telling people what is important to have in the game. That's really impressive, and I'm proud of you for that. That's super fun to know that you've made a difference.
It feels surreal starting streaming, then not being able to continue streaming due to my disability, so my arthritis, my now understanding but not understanding then that I had autism, PTSD, cerebral palsy, all of this combining into me not being able to continue streaming. My community actually going, hey, no, don't stop because we love watching you. Here is resources. They showing me what accessibility is and me just falling in love with it.
Yeah.
They fundraised the first accessibility controller for me so that I could continue even when I didn't, like, my hands were too painful to do so. And then just that snowballing into they helping me, now I can help millions of others.
Yeah.
Because that is my hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, as I said earlier, you have a great community, people who cares about you and your well-being. I am on your Discord, and whenever you say that you can't stream, people are just like, yeah, take care of yourself. And So that's how it should be.
Yes.
Especially when you have disabilities, you should be able to take a day off.
Yeah.
In reality, it's not a day off. It's a sick day. You're fighting for your life. But people are like, yeah, but you can sit and play games, right?
Yeah.
But, no.
that is also why I've started to do more YouTube, and you might see popping up like me starting doing more Let's Plays, and that is just because doing streaming, even though it is fun, it is more taxing on your body because you need to present yourself. You need to look okay. You need to be able to say hi to people, and people want you to see them and talk to them when they come by, which is also what I want to do. I want people that comes into my stream to have a break from reality. A bunch of people in my community have a disability. They also need to have a break, like a nice break, and I can give them to them. But then I also need to be on my A game to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start now doing less streaming, a bit more Let's Play as well, because then I can also record that in the middle of the night if I want to do, when none of my regular people would be on because they're sleeping.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. We had a stream not long ago, a charity stream.
Yeah.
With, who was it?
Charity stream?
No. Wasn't it a fundraising kind of stream you were part of?
Oh, yeah. So you're talking about for Save the Children?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went with Level Up. So they have something called Gaming Action. I do not know what we could call that in English. Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gaming. Put in Google Translate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a yearly event where they raise money for Save the Children. And I am lucky enough to be then contacted by them asking, hey, we Save the Children are going to start a Norwegian stream team. Do you want to join? Because we love what you're talking about. And I got to join them. So now we're together, me, Level Up Norway, Smilia and Protexit, our Norwegian Save the Children stream team that are trying to raise money or just making people aware about all the children that are living around the world, are living so close to war, and how we can help them. How can we help children just both locally, our next door neighbors and people around us, and also people around in the world, because children are innocent and they should be able to grow up safe, sound and fed. And it's important, and it has been so nice being able to join them, because at the moment with everything happening in the world, a lot of us feel like we're just sitting here waiting for something, but nothing is helping, we feel powerless. And then being able to go like, hey, 5 Norwegian kroners a month can actually help save children. You can save children by giving them what they need for a whole week. 5 Norwegian kroners, you can save 2 children for a whole week. And doing things like that gives you hope that, hey, there is a future.
Yeah.
We will get through this as well.
Yeah. It's a weird world that we live in now. Like, things weren't great earlier either. Talking many years back, right? But there wasn't the internet. You didn't have the flow of information you have now. Now everything is coming at you all the time, and like you have this social media algorithms that see that you are seeing something about a war somewhere, and it's like, oh, let's give her more of that, and it really feeds that that negative aspect of your psyche, and makes you, as you said, paralyzed, because you're as one person feel powerless. You have no agency over that situation, right? But then being able to like stream for Save the Children, it helps.
It does.
Yeah.
It is because what the people we do not like want us to do is to feel powerless. Like everybody who has ever seen Ants, the movie, I think it's called Ants, from the 90s, know that like one ant is not a problem, a million ants is soon to be a problem. So then being able to show people like, hey, actually us together, coming together, doing something makes ourselves feel a bit better. It also gives us a break, and we can help other people. And I think it is so important.
Yeah. I'm going to use your husband's method. Just help out of spite.
Yeah. Just like a few. I'm doing it better.
I usually try to end these talks with the moonshot. Moonshot being like a big dream, a goal, something you want to achieve. Doesn't have to be achievable, but something you want to achieve, something you want to see out in the world. Do you have a moonshot?
Yes.
Yes.
I have it like this. So why I want to is that what I do on social media to just blow up. And that is not for making myself popular. It is so that I can start a fund that people can apply to get money to add accessibility to their games, or for disabled game developers to join things. When you are disabled, it's harder for you and it costs more money for you to just exist. Even though in countries we have universal healthcare, it costs more money. It's called a disability tax. And it just, in general, a lot of money get lost just because you have an illness or you're born a different way. And I want people that are developers or studios, whatever, to be able to apply for this fund, to get that extra hotel that is closer to the event you want to join in the game industry, to add that text size to the game you want to, but you don't have the people or the knowledge, so you need an extra year. I wanted to send people to go to schools and courses and get certifications and rent books and whatever it means. So I want to be like the biggest YouTuber ever, so that I can be so rich that I can leave, when I'm not in this world anymore, a fund that everybody can apply to that has any disability, that can make them be on equal level with everybody else. So if you are the smallest studios from the biggest AAA, I will give you the money to add accessibility. That is my dream.
That is not small stuff.
That is
that is a moonshot, if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. But have you seen the Alveus Sanctuary stream?
No.
No. So Alveus is a streamer that she's called Maya, and she worked with zoo animals and stuff like that. And one of the things that, like, zoos are good because it helps people learn about animals, rehabilitate them. But by having people there, the animals might not be harder for them to be rehabilitated, to be turned back into nature. So what she has made a zoo that nobody can visit, but everybody can see 24/7. She raises millions of dollars every single year to get bigger facilities, more animals, and help people. This is the possibility we have with the internet. So it is a hairy goal, it is a moon goal, but people have been on the moon before.
Yeah.
So why can't I be the next one?
Yeah, and as you said earlier, you don't need one person to pay a lot of money.
No.
You need a lot of people to pay a little money.
Yeah.
And then you get your fund started. And
yes.
then
So I need people to watch my YouTubes, know about accessibility, be curious. Even though if you don't like my stuff, every time you buy a game, look at the settings. Be curious about it. Understand that, maybe a friend of mine can't play this game. Is there a reason why they can't play this game? Can we fix that they can't play this game? Can we do it together? Because if accessibility starts being more popular, that is just going to drive more people wanting to add accessibility. And when we get that ball rolling, there's power in that.
Yeah. And as you said, rebranding, not accessibility, quality of life.
Quality of life.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this talk. It's been eye-opening, for sure.
I was going to say thank you for having me, but...
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming to my stream room.